Hello, this is Kevin Bowersox, creator of the blog 2Thought. In today's tutorial, we're going to explore creating a one-to-many relationship using JPA and Spring data. The relationship we are going to create will be a one-to-many relationship between a post and some comments that are made regarding that post. You can see an example of this relationship currently on the blog by looking at one of the posts and exploring the comments that were made regarding that post. So I will head to one of my more popular posts, and you can see that we have one post and then many comments regarding that post. Today we'll explore how to create that relationship, and the code we will be using as our base is the code from the JPA mapping a one-to-one relationship article. You can download that code by clicking on the GitHub icon below the post, and you can follow along with today's tutorial. To begin, we will open Spring Source Tool Suite, and within the project we will navigate to the Entities package, and we will create a new class. This class will be called Comment, and then within this class we will create a few fields, the first one being a comment ID, the second being an author field, and the final field being a body field, which will store the comment. We will create getters and setters for each one of these. We'll format the class, and now we'll begin annotating it with our JPA annotations. Specify our ID annotation, our column annotation, and we'll tell it how the ID is created with the generated value annotation. We'll specify a strategy, and we'll give it strategy of identity. Add another column annotation. And at this point our class is now annotated properly. The next item we'll need to create is the repository. So create a new interface, and we'll title it Comment Repository. And we will extend the JPA repository. We'll specify the type of the class that we are hoping to persist, and the type of its ID. We'll head in, we'll import the comment class. At this point our repository is configured. Now we can begin creating our unit test. Whoops. So we will specify we want a JUnit test case. We will title it Tag Repository Test. And now we need some of the annotations so we can run with Spring. I'm just going to copy from one of our previous tests. And now we need to auto wire a tag repository. We'll import the tag repository first. Whoops, it's a comment repository. I'm thinking ahead to the many-to-many post. So now we have our repository, and we'll just test an insert. So we'll create a new comment. We'll set its author. And we'll set its body. And now we'll use the repository to save the comment. And now we'll pull it out of the database. We'll check that it is not null. And we will check that our author field is appropriately set, and we'll check that our body field is appropriately set. Okay, at this point we can try running these tests, and it looks like we have an issue. Whoops, I gotta save before I run. Okay, and it looks like our repository is working properly. We can insert comments. Now we will establish the one-to-many relationship. To establish the relationship, we will need to create a collection on the post class. So we'll create a list of comments. And now we need to add some annotations. The first one is the one-to-many annotation. And the second one is our join column annotation. And we will join by the comment ID. So now the post class is properly annotated for a one-to-many relationship. You can see we use two JPA annotations, the first one being the one-to-many annotation, and the second one being the join column annotation. We put the join column annotation on the post class because it is the owning side of the entity, meaning the post table will have a comment ID field, which will define its relationship to the comments. The comment ID field will point to the comment ID field on the comment, effectively establishing our relationship. Okay, let's now work with the unit test for post to test this relationship. So here we can see we have a simple unit test where we are inserting a post, and I'm just going to create some comments here. So I'm setting the body and the author fields. Oops. Now we'll set the same fields on the second comment. I'm going to make these local variables for when we test later. So I'm setting up these fields. And now we'll use those fields in our setter methods. Okay. And now here you can see we create a new post object. So let's I forgot to create getters and setters for this field on post. So we'll head back over here and we will create our getter and setter methods on post for the comments field. We'll save that and we can head back, and now we can add comments to our post. So we just added 2 comments to the post. As you can see, we are then saving the post, and then we retrieve the post from the database. So now we need to make sure that we have comments with the post. So I'm checking to see that there are 2 comments in the post. And now we will iterate through the comments. Actually, we'll just use the contains method. That'll be easier. And we can use assert true to make sure that's true, that our post does contain these comments. Okay, so now we have our unit test set up. Basically, in the unit test, we created these new comments. Then we added those comments to the posts in line 61 and 62. And then in our assertions, we check to make sure we have 2 comments. And then we also make sure that the comments contain the 2 newly created comments. One thing we'll need to do to make sure this works is create the hashcode and equals methods on the post and comments. So I'm just going to use Eclipse to create these 2 methods. we use those fields to create the hashcode and equals methods, and we'll also need to do the same thing in our comment class. And I'm just going to use every field in this class. This will allow the comparison to happen, and it will also allow JPA to make sure that the comment's already not in the database. When it calls these methods to determine equality, it can make that comparison effectively. So let's run our unit tests. And you can see everything passes. Now let's make this relationship bidirectional, meaning that the comment will be able to access the post. So to begin that process, we'll open up the comment class, and within the comment class we'll create a new field of type post, and we'll name it post. And then we will create getters and setters for this field. And now, prior to doing any annotations, I'm going to head back to the post class because we need to change the annotations there to support a bidirectional relationship. So the first thing we'll need to do is remove the join column annotation. I'm just going to cut that, and we need to specify the mapped by property, and this will be mapped by post, meaning it's going to look at the comment and find the post field and use that for the mapping. And we are also going to specify the cascade type, and we're just going to set that to all. Meaning all operations on the parent will be performed on the child. So let's head back to comment, and now we're going to annotate the post field. The first thing we'll need to add is a many to one annotation. And then we also add the join column annotation because now the comment becomes the owning side of the entity. The comment will actually store what post it belongs to, so we need to change our join column to be the post ID, and that's how we will now identify the relationship. At this point, we can head to our comment repository test. Oops, and it looks like I named that tag repository, so I'm just going to quickly refactor that. Let's give it a new name, and we'll head in there. And now when we insert the comment, we're also going to set its post. So I'm going to need to create a new post, and we'll set a few of its fields. We'll set the date, and we'll set the title. Okay, and now we will set the post in the comment. So we create a new post in these 3 lines, and then in this line we set the post in the comment, and now we persist to our data store. And now let's just make sure that that persist happened correctly. So we will assert that db comments post field is not null. Oops, looks like we got an error. Not exactly sure what that's complaining about. I'm just going to run it anyway and see why it doesn't like that. It appears that there's just some stray imports here that didn't get cleaned up properly. Once I delete that, our error is resolved, and we'll run the test. As you can see, our test runs. Let's head over to the post repository test and make sure that's okay. And the post repository test works. So we've effectively established a JPA one-to-many relationship. We made that relationship bidirectional. And that concludes this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we will look at a many-to-many relationship. I hope you'll return to the site to view that tutorial. So until we meet again,